rights when it comes to employment, housing, and public accommodations, with the right to file charges if denied those rights, while also being protected against unlawful retaliation.
We've heard a significant amount of feedback from both citizens in Meridian and around the valley in support of it. But we have heard, I think, some very compelling arguments from some people who are opposed.
Kavanagh told me the concerns against the ordinance range from business issues to religion. But Gaona Lincoln hopes that more cities will start to have this dialogue.
We think it's going to definitely send a message to other cities, and we hope that others will follow their example.
Steve Dent, 6 on your side.
More news coming up in just a second.
I will order up another day like today.
Yeah.
A little chilly this morning, but that's to be expected.
Purple on my weather maps is a sign of cold. The bluish purple, she's got it. She's got the, because it was cold this morning.
I was.
I accidentally left the window open.
And you were trying to find it.
Yeah.
It was chilly.
It was like, yeah.
You were turning this.
All this purple air was coming in, right? That's what it felt like, certainly. Boy, I'll tell you, the changes we have been having, right? It's going to happen eventually, right? It is already happening. Tomorrow morning will be very similar. So there's actually a little bit of frost possible. I'll tell you where the best chances for that. Only 69 degrees for the high temperature today. Keep that in mind. I'm going to show you that number later in regards to next week and how that could affect us as well. 38 this morning. When you hit 36, it's measured right here at eye level. The ground can be colder and you can get some frost, and that's why we have that isolated threat for frost, nothing widespread for the Treasure Valley. I'll show you the overnight lows forecasted: 40 at the airport, 43 in Ontario, but places in Caldwell Canyon County, Mountain Home, a lot of the remote areas outside of the airport, and except down in the valley near Ontario and Weiser and Payette, we can get some really cold readings. Look at Stanley, 19 again tomorrow morning, and 29 degrees in Idaho Falls. Because of that, we've got a frost advisory in effect. You see it here, not in Twin Falls or Twin Falls County, but Burley and Rupert. Eastern Magic Valley has it. A hard freeze warning for Idaho Falls, points north and westward in that location. And you look at the forecast for tomorrow in southwest Idaho, while it may be 41 at the airport, 39 and upper 30s in many parts of the valley. Very similar to this morning, but the one difference for tomorrow, while we still hit 60 at noon and near 70 in the afternoon, there will be a lot less breeze than we had today. It is going to be a spectacular autumn afternoon tomorrow if you get a chance to get outside and enjoy it. Now we're going to look ahead here in just a few minutes, all the way to February. My extended forecast coming up.
That's a big extended forecast. Well, fall is finally here, and you're probably starting to think about raking up your leaves, preparing for the colder weather.
Getting pretty close to that, aren't we? If you live in Boise, you can put those leaves in a compost bin, but where do they go? 6 on your side's Anna Silver explains more about a unique facility that makes sure those materials don't go to waste.
Don, Michelle, I took a trip out to 20 Mile South Farm in Kuna. It's owned by the City of Boise and is a unique facility that gives the word repurpose a whole new meaning. This is 20 Mile South Farm, owned and operated by the City of Boise. It serves as a dual purpose. Here, alfalfa, corn, and winter wheat are grown, but the fertilizer used for those crops.
And we take all the biosolids from both of the water renewal facilities, and then we truck those out to the farm where we use those as fertilizer.
Ultimately, those crops are sold to local food production.
We're in the midst of our corn chopping for the season. All of our corn is chopped for silage. For animal feed, our wheat is kind of interesting because it is considered a food crop, so it is used locally for food production.
Not only does 20 Mile South Farm have the biosolids program, but they also have a compost program as well. Separate from the biosolids program, the compost program picks up materials that Boise residents place in carts on the curb.
One of the huge benefits of the compost program is that residents are able to compost their leaves really year-round.
Republic Services then takes that material to the farm every week where it's treated and ground down. It's then turned into compost, which takes about 90 days.
The city's collected over 36,000 tons of material from Boise residents, which, if you think about it, it's a pretty incredible stat, and that equals about 1,000 pounds per household on average since the program. So that's a ton of material that would have otherwise wound up in the landfill that's now being able to be turned into a new product that Boise residents can then use at their home.
Now, if you're a Boise resident that participates in that compost program, you can go to the Idaho Botanical Gardens and collect that compost for free. Live in studio, Anna Silver, 6 on your side.
Coming up on 6 on your side.